Hey guys, welcome back to Curse Only Means, and this is finally week 4 power rankings. Before we go ahead and get into things, I have realized that it's probably not a good idea for me to release these like later on Saturdays, like a day before the game and after the Thursday night game. So what I'm going to start doing is so normally what I do is I put my Washington game previews on Wednesday. Um, so and these will come out on Saturday. I'm gonna flip those. So unless Washington has a Thursday night game, which they don't, well, except for Thanksgiving, I'm gonna start posting my power rankings on Wednesday. So it's before the Thursday night game and it's earlier in the week, so you can get that early. So yeah, just had to let you guys know. All right, now let's go ahead and get into things with. Oh, and by the way, this is part 1, so this will be the bottom 16 teams. If you're looking for the top 16 teams, if you look in the information bar on the top or whatever, I should have put a link to the video, the part 2, up there. So after you're done watching this, you can go ahead and watch that. Yeah, let's go into things. So, we've got bad section. These teams are having a pretty bad season now. Obviously, the 25th might be having a pretty good season in your opinion, but whatever. I didn't say which teams are having a bad season. I just put ranked them, and the bottom 8 ended up being in this section. So first off, we're gonna have the Jets, obviously. Now again, I don't know how many times I say this, but this is before the Thursday night game. I rank these before the Thursday night game. The Broncos are lower than they probably would be after the game, and the Jets. I don't know how. I keep on thinking that they should be. They seem worse every week to me. So the Jets, of course, I mean, we've seen them terribly playing. I mean, Adam Gase is a terrible coach. They don't really have any weapons, especially with Brashad Perriman injured right now. I have to say one thing, though, and this is going to kind of sound kind of weird, but there is one positive that the Jets have. As of today, which is Saturday, September 3rd, Sam Darnold is questionable. So, Joe Flacco, in my opinion, is better. So, I mean, for all I know, Joe Flacco is going to go out there and win a couple games. But right now, I know Sam Darnold has shown promise, and I know, especially he had a really good throw against the 49ers. But overall, in my opinion, he's had multiple years at this point to develop, and he still hasn't gotten any better. I think they should just. I think it's going to happen eventually, and if he gets injured, I guess that'll just speed things up. But right now, in my opinion, I think Joe Flacco is better, but. And I know you can say, oh, he's a young quarterback, but how long is this going to take? Next up, in 31st, we have the Giants, who, especially with, of course, obviously Saquon Barkley injured, their offense isn't really there. They're kind of putting it on Daniel Jones' shoulders, and he just isn't being able to carry that weight very well. And in my opinion, they especially with the Saquon Barkley injury, they're in for a pretty bad next couple of not like weeks, but like I think Saquon Barkley's out for the season, so they're in for a bad season. Yeah. Moving on to the 30th team, we have another NFC East team. We have the Philadelphia Eagles. They have just been completely, imploding upon themselves. It's pretty bad, especially with Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside injured. It's not looking very good. And their rookie, Jalen Reagor, is on IR. They're injury-ridden, and on top of that, Carson Wentz is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. We started to see that their offensive line is terrible. This offense is just completely, flopping, and then their defense is terrible. I would say it's a bit better than the Giants, and that's probably what keeps them on top, really. But the one positive is the fact that Miles Sanders is a very good running back. Y'all just really have to lean on him. It's like they're still holding out that maybe, Carson Wentz is good, but I have a feeling that in a few years this is going to be Jalen Hurts' team. I think, next 2 to 3 years, Carson Wentz is probably not going to be in there. I think what's probably going to happen, as has happened in years prior, is probably somehow Carson Wentz is going to get injured. Jalen Hurts is going to go in there somehow, win out the last 7 games and take him to the playoffs, and they're going to have hope again. Anyways, next up we have the Lions, who don't pay too much attention to the movement, unless it's the Eagles. They completely disappointed me against the Bengals. That's why they moved down by 4. Or they didn't disappoint me, but they played worse than I thought they would. Anything that's in between not moving or 2 is really on the same level. The Lions, they dropped down 1, but really, in my opinion, they kind of impressed me. It's just people moving around them has kind of bumped them down a bit. Matthew Stafford looked pretty good. Adrian Peterson had a good game. It might have had a lot. Their defense is really what stepped up. They picked off Kyler Murray 3 times, and really they kind of made an embarrassment out of the Cardinals. And I mean, for all we know, the Lions, they're showing promise. They have a lot of talent on this team. It's just, can they use it? I mean, really, they should be 2-1 at this point. They should have beaten the Bears, and they did obviously beat the Cardinals. I mean, if DeAndre Swift had actually caught that ball, then they would be 2-1, and people would be thinking, hey, I mean, this is a pretty good team. But right now, I think right now I mean, they're better than their record, which is 1-2. I think they should be 2-1, and still though, DeAndre Swift did allow a comeback from the Bears just because they should have won. They should have won to the Bears. So right now, 29th is where they think they should go. They're a pretty bad team, but they are better than these three. In 20th, we have the Dolphins, who move up 2 after getting their first win. Ryan Fitzpatrick has had 2 good games in a row, so congratulations to him. He either plays really badly or he plays really well. And right now, I mean, he's had a streak of playing really well, and if he can hold on to that, maybe they could go somewhere. I mean, this week they're playing the Seahawks, so I wouldn't be too excited about this, but still, and with Tua Tagovailoa injured, you better be hoping that that Ryan Fitzpatrick could take you places. But I mean, in all, he's impressing me. Their offense, especially, is impressing me. Whoa, what just happened? I don't know what just happened, but I don't know what just happened. I don't know why it went down. So let's go back to Dolphins. And the 27th team is the Broncos. I literally have no idea what just happened. I hope I didn't spoil anything, but right now we're just going to go over to the Broncos. The Broncos, with Drew Lock out, Brett Rippon, I mean, they brought in Blake Bortles thinking, oh, maybe he can save the day, and then he's injured now. And I mean, it's just terrible. Brett Rippon, and again, this is before the Thursday night game, okay? Next week, I'm going to start doing it beforehand so I don't have to say this. Obviously, Brett Rippon played pretty well. You will see this in next week's power rankings, how well I think they were after that. I don't know why I decided to make the power rankings come out literally on the last day of the week. I'm going to start doing that earlier. So, yeah. Right now, the Broncos, they didn't look too well, especially with Drew Lock injured. Jeff Driscoll benched. Brett Rippon, though, it's going to be – no. He at the point of making this, he hadn't had his first NFL start yet, so he was going to have his first NFL start. We don't know. Obviously, he came in and he played pretty, he did better than I expected, I think. Anyways, next up, in 26th, we had the Carolina Panthers, who move up 3 after surprisingly having a pretty good win. Mike Davis went in there and played pretty well, and we're starting to see that, I think they could have, any talented running back is going to do really well with the Panthers system that they have on offense. Teddy Bridgewater really, he showed up. He played really well. He made a lot of really good passes, playing some of his best football. He's kind of showing why they, traded for him. If he plays like this every game, they can really go places. They got the first win against the Chargers, who really, I think I was kind of overrating them after they had a pretty good game there against the Chiefs. We'll see if they can keep it going, and then they can keep on moving up. But right now, they do. They had one good game against we've seen pretty bad Chargers defense. And right now, the Panthers, they just got to show me some more before they move up a lot more. In 25th, we have the Washington football team. I was pretty hyped up on them after they got their win there against the Eagles. And now, after seeing how badly this offense can possibly be, they've dropped down to 25th. They've shown flashes. They have managed to score. They've kept it like with the Browns game. They were up 20-17 at one point. They don't quit is one thing that they don't. They don't give up at the end. They were down 17-7. I guess in the Eagles game and in the Browns game, and then they come back and they were up 20-17 at the beginning of the fourth quarter against the Browns. So they do have a lot of heart. And I do think they will win a couple more games this season. But right now, especially with, we've seen we're just waiting for Antonio Gibson to come out with Steven Sims injured, their wide receiver 2. Terry McLaurin possibly out. They're going up against the Ravens this week. It's not looking too good for Washington. They really had to get up. Their only hope for this season was to go 2-1 or 3-0 in these first couple games, because they have the Ravens this week and they have the Rams in week 5. So it's not looking too good for Washington, but we'll see what they can do. If they manage to beat the Ravens, you'll see a big move in Washington. Next up, we have the final section we're doing in this what's it called? In this video, we have they could be doing better. This is the 24-17, as you can see here. And again, 17 is doing much better than 24. For all you know, 17 is the best team in the league. I don't know. In 24, they had the Bengals. They didn't move very much. I know they got their first tie, and I know they played really well, but I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that the Eagles are playing insanely poorly. So right now, I mean, Joe Burrow, he's looking like a veteran, and as he develops and he gets even better, he is going to be, in my opinion, a pretty legendary quarterback. If he keeps on playing like this, and I mean, I know he's only played 3 games so far, but he is looking like a potential Hall of Famer. I mean, we don't see very many quarterbacks come in their rookie year, start off on week 1, and come out and play this well. And he's 0-2-1. And we'll see what he can keep on doing in this offense. I mean, with Joe Mixon questionable, I mean, that's pretty bad. But right now, I mean, Tyler Boyd, A.J. Green, they've been putting up some good numbers. So I'm pretty excited to see what he can do in the future. But right now, though, again, they are only 0-2-1. They aren't playing spectacularly. So 24th is where they go. They're doing man. 23rd, we have the Vikings who bump up to. They got their first. Well, they didn't get the first win, but they kind of got back into the rhythm of things. They had a really good game against the Titans, especially looking at their first 2 games. They played terribly. They come in week 3, and in my opinion, they impressed me. And they played. They didn't play as well as they have been in the past couple of years, but they show the resemblance of that. That may be the reason they played pretty badly was because they didn't have any preseason, and maybe week 5, maybe even this week, they can kind of get back up to speed. I mean, this is like a team that really doesn't have any injuries. I mean, they have 1 player on IR in that entire offense. They really don't have any injuries. So right now, they need to take advantage of that. They need to be winning lots of games. And this week, I think they have, I forgot who they're playing, but I think they have a pretty good chance. Oh, I know they're playing the Texans, who we'll talk about them in a minute. But that's definitely a winnable game, looking at what they did last week. Now, coming up, we have the Bears, who dropped down a couple, actually, after their win. Again, this doesn't mean anything, again, like, really, unless I start saying stuff about it. But right now, I don't think they didn't really change anything, except for, of course, they put in Nick Foles, but they didn't really play any better than I thought they would. They didn't play any worse than I thought they would. I mean, Nick Foles, he did go out there and he played pretty well, but we'll see how well he can do. There's kind of 2 versions of Nick Foles. There's the kind that comes in and saves the whole season, and there's the kind that we've seen him start for different teams and play terribly. And we're going to see what he gets. So right now, I put the Bears at second just because, again, they were down 26-10. I mean, this whole offense isn't playing very well. They're just coming back at the end of games. So we'll see if they can keep it up. I'd be really surprised to see them go 5-0 at this point. But, I mean, anything could happen. They're going up against the Colts again. They'll probably lose. Anyways, in 21st, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who really had to be playing. I know they're 1-2, and I know Dak Prescott has been playing really well, and that is why I put him up there. But again, they are 1-2. Their defense has been playing, in my opinion, really badly. They're pretty injury-ridden. Ezekiel Elliott has been really, really playing way worse than even I thought they would. I think in this most recent game, he only got like 34 yards or something. They're really leaning heavily on Dak Prescott, and he's putting up numbers, but he's also putting up interceptions and bad decisions, and he's losing them games. And right now, 21st is where I put them. They still have time to turn the season around. They have shown flashes, but right now, they're gonna have to change some stuff up if they want to, go far. And 20th, we have the 49ers, who somehow managed to drop down a bit. Again, doesn't mean anything. But with, Jimmy Garoppolo, all these, and you've probably heard it a million times, their whole offense is basically injured. I don't know if you know this, but as I make these videos, I have their roster up just so I can, look at it. I'm not like, what is his name? But, like, literally, as I look at their roster, all I'm seeing is IR, out, questionable, IR, and it's just so terrible to look at it. But right now, I mean, they're starting running back is Jerick McKinnon and Jeff Wilson Jr. This offense is doing pretty badly. We saw them do really well against, obviously, the pretty bad Giants team that I had at 31st, so I wouldn't be too excited. I do think that they'll get another pretty good win here against the Eagles on Sunday night. As you saw in my predictions that I put out, you should go watch those definitely before the games start. Anyways, moving on to the 19th, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. With Tyrod Taylor out, Justin Herbert is coming here, and I know they lost last week, but they are still, especially Justin Herbert, he is playing pretty well. It's just that defense really needs to step it up. I don't know how many to say this, but like their defense is doing pretty badly there. Justin Herbert's come in and he's played really well. If he keeps this up, then again he's gonna be having a pretty long career in this league. But right now he needs to step it up. Not he, but this defense especially needs to step it up. Their offense needs to realize that they do still have a rookie quarterback. They need to help him out as much as they can. And yeah, second to last team we're going to talk about in this video are the Browns, who jump up 5. Now, I'm going to talk about this, and they really impressed me here, because I thought it'd be a close game against Washington, and no. I mean, like I know I said, I mean, Washington, they managed to score 13 points in the third quarter. They won the first and third quarter. Really, I mean, if you watched the game, in the fourth quarter, it was all about the Browns. It was a complete dominant performance. The Browns' defense really showed up. Baker Mayfield showed that he really can pass the ball. I mean, he had a lot. I mean, obviously, Washington was able to especially Kareem Hunt, they managed to kind of stop Kareem Hunt up until the very end. Nick Chubb, on the other hand, was taken off. So now we're kind of seeing that they do have this two-headed monster at running back. And then you look at their, passing, and Baker Mayfield has had 2 pretty good games. And, I mean, if he can show up and if he can keep on doing this, I mean, he's got, Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry are still healthy, and if he can go out there, he could probably win these next couple of games. So right now, Browns fans, you're looking pretty good, but again, Kareem Hunt is questionable. That defense isn't doing spectacular. I mean, another thing to talk about is the fact that they did allow Dwayne Haskins and this pretty bad Washington offense to score 20 points on them. So you can see it either way, but right now I think you're just doing pretty meh. And at 17, we had the Jaguars. She dropped down a couple right now. One of the things we're going to talk about is the fact that James Robinson, the undrafted rookie, who I don't think he wasn't even supposed to get very many snaps, is now he's doing great. He's getting 30 fantasy points per week. Gardner Minshew, the first 2 games especially he has been looking like a really good quarterback. Minshew Mania is alive and well. So right now the Jaguars, they're leaning towards good. They barely make it into this video. So yeah, that's just about that. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Now that this video is over, you don't necessarily have to listen to my outro. You should go ahead and you should watch part 2, which I'm literally going to record right after this one. I'm not even going to move. I'm going to do my outro, then I'm going to turn off the recording, start it back up, start my intro, and go from there. So, yeah. Anyways, we do this kind of stuff every single week. We do power rankings. They're now going to be earlier. We do predictions. We do previews for Washington games. I rant about Washington games after they happen just because I'm a Washington fan. I like to do that. We do weekly recaps, Monday night recaps, Thursday night recaps, all the kind of stuff that I think you'd be, if you're a football fan, I think you'd really like it. So, also in the description, you'll find links to my Twitter and my Instagram. So, yeah, I'd be really grateful if you went ahead and follow those. But anyways, I'll hopefully see you in the next one, which you should be watching right now.